Hey everyone, welcome back to TeenProLifers podcast. This is Will, and today I'm going to be joined by Yakob, and we're going to be talking about some of the new pro-life news that's happened over this week. So stay tuned to listen. All right, how are you doing today, Yakob?
I'm doing well. How are you, William?
Pretty good. It's been a big few weeks. We have some
Eh,
pro-life news we're going to talk about this week. So get
Yes,
ready.
it's been a crazy couple weeks up here as well. I'm in New York for those of you listening. Um, so Will and I are good friends, and I'm excited for this episode.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, then we'll get right into it. We'll start with politics since that's what no one wants to talk about. So you can skip over this part. But anyways, for politics and the pro-life political news, the main thing today is that some GOP senators won an abortion bill classified as dangerous. So 20 Republican senators sent a letter to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, asking if the abortion pill be deemed dangerous. And the letter is centered around a drug taken to abort an early pregnancy known as Mifeprex, or by its generic name, Mifepristone. And this was led by Senator Ted Cruz. This is pretty big. That's 20 senators led by Ted Cruz, who is he was one of the people who ran for president in 2016. So it's good that they're looking to take action because it's certainly a dangerous pill. It does not have good effects.
Yeah, for sure. In the article, it cites the 20 the 20 senators who voted and co-signed the letter, and some of you might know my FEPRIX um, better by it's also known as RU486. So if you guys know what the RU486 pill is, Live Action News talks about it a lot, and so that's the exact same pill that this letter is trying to deem as dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this was the one that Abby Johnson took in Unplanned, if you watched that movie. And it's not like if you watch Unplanned, they have a very, very graphic scene about it. It's certainly dangerous and like it takes out, it comes with like a lot of blood clots and other things that are extremely dangerous to the woman. So it is something that should be like very heavily regulated, if not banned. And I'm glad Ted Cruz and some other guys are working towards that.
Yeah, there's a lot of pushback though from all the Democrat candidates as well. If you Shannon Fesher, who's a candidate for the Democratic Congress, she said that this new push from Ted Cruz and the GOP is a dangerous and misogynistic lie, which is pretty crazy because they're the same people that are trying to defend Black lives, and when you look at it, abortion is one of the number one killers of Black lives, and so I thought that was pretty ironic.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know why I don't understand like when Democrats get mad about like a law that makes abortion illegal up to trimesters, then I understand why they're mad because they're pro-choice. But when they make a law, when they're mad at a law that just puts regulations on abortion, so you can't do it unsafely, then that just like drives me insane. I don't understand it.
Hmm. Yep, exactly. In Texas, they have a huge mortality rate from this bill with 18 and a half deaths per 100K live births, which is a very high mortality rate. And it's an extremely deadly pill. And now that they're trying to push for it to be administered, over call or online and sent to you in a package at your house with no sort of supervision from a doctor or a health official, is kind of crazy, especially since they're trying to push this on younger girls and uh, advocating that young 14-year-old girls sign up to have this deadly pill sent to their house by mail.
Yeah. In California, they also had a bill like this that was actually trying to end the black mortality rate that was double the white mortality rate there. So they made a bill, and all it did was endorse more abortion. Actually, interestingly enough, Joe Biden's modeling his entire reproductive rights campaign off of this bill. And all the bill did was triple the amount of black mortality rates. It did nothing for the community using this pill. So it's not something you should just like be throwing around here.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, awesome. And then next, Abby Johnson, who, if you don't know, she was the one that Unplanned was written about. She was an ex-Planned Parenthood employee, and now she's a huge person in the pro-life community. She spoke at the RNC. She was invited by President Trump to speak at the RNC. And she gave if not the best, one of the best speeches there. And she gave a very graphic description of the abortion procedure so that it would kind of like wake everyone watching up and like see that this isn't something good. So she said, the biggest quote is, "I spent 8 years working at Planned Parenthood, but today I'm a pro-life activist." And this story sent like shockwaves through the media, and she represented one of the most high-profile conversions to anti-abortion cause. So this was really cool because it's showing that the RNC, the Republicans institutionally, are actually willing to care about abortion, which hasn't happened for a while, but I'm glad it's starting to happen under this new administration, the Trump administration. So it's a good sign, working toward the right direction.
Yeah, what Trump has done for the pro-life causes has been tremendous. I think, when people say that Trump is the most pro-life president that we've had, it's certainly true. When we see all that he's accomplished for the pro-life movement, especially since he went to the March for Life and gave an amazing speech, and now inviting all these very pro-life figures to speak at the RNC, such as Abby Johnson, and so just like Abby Johnson said, we've been seeing a huge change and a huge switch over from people who used to be pro-choice, such as herself, who are now seeing the truly disgusting side of abortion and how it's really just anti-women. And we see that, and they're becoming pro-life. And so personally, I'm not a huge fan of showing these very graphic depictions of abortions, because it is really it's pretty tough to see for most people to see these innocent babies' lives, their arms ripped and their legs ripped apart and everything. It's just horrible. But sometimes it's the only thing that works, and it definitely worked for Abby Johnson. So I think a lot of people who work at these abortion facilities, when they see that on the scan when the abortion is taking place, they are they have this sudden change in their hearts and in their minds, and that's what begins their pro-life journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you haven't watched Unplanned, you should. It's a great movie. It was made by Pure Flix, so I think the company's usually pretty cringe for movies, but I think this was one of the much better ones, and it really showed Abby Johnson's conversion. And actually, if you know Dr. Levantino from live action, he plays the physician in it who does the abortion that converts Abby. So it's a great movie, and you should all watch it. That's enough politics for today. So let's move on to vaccines. There's a new vaccine developed to protect unborn cows, but not unborn babies. This is outrageous. I don't know what to say about this.
I know, it's crazy. I mean, all these the article starts off with, the agricultural community is celebrating a new vaccine created to prevent miscarriages or spontaneous abortions in cows. I mean,
And I thought the cows were the one who are contributing to the global warming, though.
I know, right?
Reporting them.
Yeah, I thought we didn't want them to be farting all over the place to be releasing their methane gases into the atmosphere to trap all the greenhouse gases. It's crazy. Gosh.
Yeah, this is I don't know. I really don't know what to say about this. Like I don't understand because abortion's always supposed to be seen something as like it's to be a final decision. It should be like the last minute. Should not be something that's like celebrated. And then we see stuff like this where cows get better rights than like abortions, and it just drives me insane.
Yeah. I mean we see this a lot and even just average communities where people see a poor dog on the street, right? That's all deprived and starved and been just on the streets for a while, and they feel more compassion and empathy to this dog than they would to another human, which is I think it's a sign of our times, really, because we now care more about animals, which are supposed to be under our dominion, right?
Yeah.
As humans, as at the top of the food chain, pretty much. But now these animals have taken the spot of humans, and now we care more about how long these animals are survived, and keep making sure that they are all well before we make sure that each of us are well and keeping our babies alive.
Yeah, absolutely. On the topic of vaccines, I just wanted to briefly mention right now, all 5 vaccines for the coronavirus being tested all use fetal parts. They're different kinds of fetal parts, but they all use fetal parts. So don't get them until you hear either us or live action or someone give the okay. Because right now, it's not looking good.
Yeah, definitely. I'm in full support of that. Personally, I'm a son of a doctor, and as pro-life, as a pro-life family, we are against using abortal fetal vaccines, and so especially with these new ones coming through, um, the number one vaccine for the coronavirus right now uses aborted fetal cells. All people will say, well, they're from 1960 or whatever, but still, we don't want to. We want uh, the the health community to be pushing um, actually humane vaccines, which will, which we will. Um, Darn it, I'm losing my train of thought here, and I forgot what word I was looking for there.
Yeah, for sure, though. We do need the health community to start looking for more safe vaccines. And it's
Yeah.
definitely not a good sign when the vaccines being funded by pro-abortion companies. Then you really need to look into it. And right now, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
All right. And then next, something quick. Just there is a viral photo a little while ago, just like a week ago or so, and an activist painted "Baby Lives Matter" outside Planned Parenthood's facility in Charlotte, and then the other activist painted over the phrase "With your body, your choice." But that was just a cool. That made a great photo and a very great pic. It's awesome. Let me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we can maybe insert that photo in for you guys to look at, or drop that in the description so you guys can look at that photo. It's funny.
Right. Apparently, he also painted the same phrase. His name is Mr. Hansen. He painted the same phrase at Salt Lake City, Richmond, and then Washington D.C. So it's nice to see.
It'd be nice to get some of those up here in New York.
That would be great. Yeah.
So if we have any listeners up in New York, if you want to do that and send those in to us,
I'll be sure to
that'd be.
post them. Yep.
Yep.
All right. Sounds
All right.
good. Next, Jim Caviezel. He's a famous actor, and he called
Basil, I
out
think it is pronounced William. Jim
uh,
Caviezel?
Caviezel.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Not too familiar with him. I've seen him in a few movies, but not too familiar with him.
Oh, that's weird. I mean, he was a big guy uh, on the on the movie The Passion for Christ, right?
Yeah,
The Passion.
like probably the only thing I know him from. That
Okay.
and the upcoming one, The Resurrection.
Uh,
But
well,
yeah,
I watch a little bit of Netflix, and so I watch Person of Interest, and he's
got it.
he's
Yeah.
the guy from Person of Interest.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, Jim Caviezel, he's a huge he's a pretty big Christian guy, I'd say. And he's best known for playing as Jesus in the film The Passion of Christ, and so he's always been a huge pro-life activist. And recently, in regards to this, all the news with the abortion and the debate between the pro-life and pro-choice communities, he said that, quote, "I've looked at the barbarism of abortion. I've seen one of them. There is no hiding anymore. Even if I don't really know who Jesus is, something in me, my own conscience hits me. That's immoral. That's wrong. Why are we doing this?" End quote. And I mean, that's a very just powerful quote right there, saying that, it's something which comes from your conscience, right? Where you can internally know that abortion is wrong. You don't need to have any faith or any sort of, really like a moral compass at all. People say, oh, don't push your religion on me, right? But Jim Caviezel, he said right there that, he doesn't know even if he didn't know who Jesus is, and he doesn't, he can see by the light of his own conscience that abortion is a barbaric act, which is immoral, wrong, and it's a horrendous thing which society continues to push.
Yeah, absolutely. He's one of the big actors in the public sphere, from what I hear. So I'm glad that he's standing up for it with Kanye, actually, who we mentioned last week.
Yes, Kanye, man, he continues to blow my mind, just seeing him in the news and seeing what he has to say. Gosh, he's great.
Absolutely. If only there were that much news about his new album cover, as my friend said. So hopefully.
Yeah.
All right. And then last thing I wanted to mention was there was a gun brandishing incident at a Delaware abortion clinic. But it didn't deter pro-life outreach somehow. So after the arrest of a man who allegedly threatened pro-life demonstrators with a gun, pro-life advocates say the incident is not typical and will not change their determination to engage in positive outreach. Other than the occasional slurs and negativity offered by some people who drive past, we have a positive support from the community, and we've never really had any bad incidents. Donna Lattery, a local volunteer for a pro-life coordinator, said, "We work very well with our police department and try not to give them a reason to come to the clinic." So yeah, apparently there was a guy who pulled a gun and threatened pro-life demonstrators out here in Delaware. But it's being investigated and didn't deter anyone. Good to hear.
Yes, that is good to hear. We want some justice in society, so we see a lot of crazy movements, that are fighting for some pretty unjust causes, where people are supporting, individuals which should be the one being punished, but it'd be good to see the judges making a good judgment on this case.
Yeah. And then some news for the UK. We don't get much of that. Apparently, Catholic leaders and pro-life advocates in England and Wales are praising government's decision to not impose buffer zones or an abortion clinics throughout the territory, allowing peaceful protests to continue. So that's a good thing. The government's actually allowing some level of free speech there.
Yeah. Speaking of things, not within our own country, we've been hearing a lot about Australia. This is not abortion related, but it's still pro-life news where they've had a huge spike in assisted suicide rates, which is very devastating to see that the government is now pushing for, more assisted suicide, and the president over there in Australia is even, praising it, and it's just it's horrible to see that, people are now saying that, oh, if you're suffering from a deadly virus or a deadly illness, and you don't want to live anymore, you don't want to fight anymore, and oh, it's okay, we can kill you now so you don't have to suffer. It's just it's another mark on our society, which tears people apart and really just ruins it. But yeah, because being pro-life isn't just about being anti-abortion, right? As people will say, we have to be pro-life from the moment of conception, when life begins, to the moment of natural death. So making sure that we're standing up for the elderly is just as important as when we are standing up for the unborn. And you hear a lot more from us speaking about the unborn, since those are usually the majority of cases of anti-life action, where people are taking the lives of the unborn. But now overseas in Australia, I think it's becoming very frequent where they are the government is assisting in suicides of elderly people, and even not so elderly people.
Yeah, in Belgium, you can get an assisted suicide for depression.
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, there was a day and age when, if you had depression, right, you would go seek help, right? People would want to help you out, make sure that you survive, because we want you in the world. But now I guess they don't want people with depression in the world. They're saying, oh, well, you don't want to live, all right, that's fine, no change. But it's a huge change, right? So for those of you listening, it's important to know that anyone who suffers from depression, you are just as needed as as someone who doesn't, right? So don't take what the media pushes or what other people are saying, and take an assisted suicide as an easy way out of the difficult moments in life. Make sure that you continue to fight, and because this world would be a crazy world if people were just taking their lives and taking each other's lives at every minute. But and we see that increasing every day.
Yeah, certainly Orwellian, which we're starting to see now, but hope it doesn't go any farther.
Orwellian society is, it's today's day and age, right?
Yeah. All right, that's all for today. But thanks so much for watching. This is Will and Yakob for TeenProLifers, and we'll see you next week.